Welcome to TalkersOfGeeks.com. Justin here, back with more video game reviews, and today we're going to be reviewing the video game The Legend of Nayuta, Boundless Trails. As always, I give you a brief synopsis, and all the footage that you see here has been recorded directly from my Nintendo Switch Lite, so this is a Switch review. As always, here we go. Nayuta has always dreamed of being an explorer and exploring beyond the horizons of his island home. After a fateful encounter with a fairy-like creature by the name of Noi, him and his friend find themselves whisked away on an adventure throughout multiple worlds in order to stop an evil plot that has been set in motion. And the story I really did enjoy, and I think mainly is because of the character of Nayuta, who is kind of, you've seen a character like this in an RPG before, of that one who wants to leave their home world and see what else is beyond the horizons. But in this case, it actually works because he's such a well-written, dynamic character. He does progress and change a little bit over through the course of the stories. Of course, no spoilers at all, but it was a really good, servable story. A little bit more smaller scale than what you expect from like a Trail series, but it worked for this type of character and what directions they had. There's a lot of twists and turns right here, a lot of colorful characters, and a great supporting cast. Definitely giving a thumbs up to the story. Now let's talk a little bit about the gameplay and graphics. Let's hit first with the graphics here. Now the graphics, you might look at it and go, ugh, when was this? Is this an old game? Is this re-released? Yes, it is an old game. I believe this was a PSP game at the time, and yes, the graphics do kind of show its age here, but it works and it looks really sharp on my Nintendo Switch Lite, as you can see here, especially with the aesthetics, the lighting. The world and the design of the world is actually really gorgeous, especially when it sees particles and lighting here. It's a gorgeous looking world. My biggest complaint in terms of the graphics and just the gameplay mechanics in general is that this is a fixed camera type of game here, action RPG. So you're not able to use your right analog stick to like turn around or turn or fix the camera the way you want, just to see if you want to get like a nice landscape shot, or just to see how beautiful the designs of these castles really are. So you can't really do much with that when it turns to the graphics, but had no real frame rate issues, and I thought the graphics were, it has that old school, because it's basically a port or a little bit upscale re-res of an old game. So I'm not really going to go too hard on the graphics. But now in terms of the gameplay, for those who are Ys fans, you might look at this and go, this gameplay reminds me of a lot of the old school days of the Ys series, and you will be 100% correct. It does have the same mechanics and same style as the Ys series, but has a little bit of Trails influence in there as well. Of course, when it comes to certain things such as the elements of magic and other things that the Trail series offers. And you know what? Those combinations of the two, it works very well. Very simple mechanics here. Nayuta has various mechanics here, such as slashing, dodging, and then you have Noi in there, which gives a nice element of gameplay where she's able to help you with magic with the click of an X button. You'll be able to use her magic buttons, and she has various choices of magic, which I'll go deep into a little bit more. But the game also has a really cool boss battles as well, which you really have to be on your toes to think. You're really gonna have to be on your toes to really know when to dodge, when to use your magic. And that's the great part about this game, is that some enemies are immune to physical attacks. You're going to have to use Noi more, but Noi actually has a meter when it comes to her magic attacks, and depending on which attack she has, some of her attacks are limited to a certain amount of time. So for example, she might have 12 times usage, and if you use that 12 times, she's gonna have to wait to refill. As you can see that my meter is 0. Now I have to wait for her to refill and hopefully do more attacks with that. So it does a really good job of balancing. It's not too, depending on the level, it does get very challenging, but if you're playing it on easy or normal, you could probably coast through this. And Nayuta is armed with various ways of tools, and this is what I was talking about when it comes to Noi. As you can see here, she has various attacks. If you select an attack, it resets her magic powers back to 0, so you have to actually wait for it to reform. You also have a cooking thing, which is really going to be crucial to you. It is very important if you're playing this game to learn a much recipes as possible, because these recipes will help you with elements such as your energy, health, and things of that nature. You also have side quests and enemy information and different things in there. One thing I do like the approach of this is not a typical RPG. This RPG is broken its stages, this world's up into these stages where you have to click on the world and go from piece to piece of the continent. And you have this system where you get able to change the systems. There's a reason for that. I'm not going to go delve into the story, but you change the seasons of the systems, and this is what gives it the replayability of it, of each continent. And each continent have various enemies depending on the season, and this will actually help you finish certain side quests, get certain items. And then speaking of side quests and items, there are plentiful here, which keeps the runtime a little bit longer. You also have this thing called collectibles, and this is how you make your money. As you're exploring these continents and exploring the world of Terra, you're able to pick up items that they call collectibles, and you're able to trade those items at the local museum back in your home world to get money, which will enable for you to go to stores and help you really upgrade your player, Nayuta, where you'll be having weapons such as Legion Knife, and you can upgrade your strength depending on what weapons. Of course, it's your typical RPG. So if you know certain weapons will upgrade your attack, you choose that. You have certain armor that will help you with your defenses, certain armor that will help you with your magic attacks, and lightweight to protect against your chest and torso and different body parts. So there's a way, and there's various ways for you to really upgrade your character without just grinding all the blasted time. Also, in addition, I told you, like, this game issues a lot. Nayuta has a journal that he keeps of his journeys, and as he's learning and meeting new creatures and defeating new creatures, he puts in this journal, and you can go to the guy that's training you, your master, and he will teach you various new attacks. So this is very important to make sure that you constantly go back to your home world, talk to the people there, do side missions, because it's only going to aid you when you're in the world of Terra. And overall, I would say that the side quests, some of them are typical JRPGs. Find a kid that's playing hide and go seek. Find this missing person. Defeat this boss, or defeat this monster that has this person hostage, or cook this particular item, or look for a particular item. So the side quests, it can get a little bit tedious, but the rewards that they offer at times really do help you in battle. But let's go into sound.
Not expect children to be here. Oh Noi, still causing me trouble. How dare you take the last master gear over to this side?
Where am I?
Oh, you're finally up.
Humans! Don't come near me! Why'd you bring me here?
Voice acting, you have the choice of using English or Japanese dub. So whatever your preference is, you will have a great time, because both voice actors, and regardless of the language, I thought they did a really good job. Music is great. Love the music in this one. Really captures the world. Really emphasizes on the theme. I believe the composer is Yoko Shimomura. Probably botched her name, but of course, you know, she is the composer of Kingdom Hearts. So for those who are used to that particular soundtrack, you know that she nails it every single time. And she does a really stellar job here as well. Really incorporating a city and the world full of life, but also has some type of sadness to it, especially as you get towards the end of the game and towards a little bit of more of the reveals and what the villain is plotting. I thought the soundtrack was very well done. Now, let me give my final thoughts on this. This has been a stellar year for RPGs for 2023. Even in this one that might be a little bit old, but I still will say definitely pick this one up. This gets a solid B+. Really did enjoy it. I like the gameplay mechanics. It's a little bit more on the yeast side than the trail side, but you know what? It works because it really kind of incorporates both elements of what make those games great from back in the days and put it into this nice package with a bow. I thought the storyline was great. It's a more smaller scale type of story, even though if it does have a more end of the world or end of destruction type of feel, but it really is a more small scale story because when you look at the town, you're exploring the town, you're going from continent to continent in the way they format the game by breaking pieces up by stages and you going back there depending on the season to find new clues, find new enemies, and do new quests. It gives you a lot of replayability. The graphics is pretty good. Frame rate I had no issues with. I enjoyed the game. I highly suggest you pick this up if you're done with Sea of Stars. Definitely pick this one up. This is Justin from UntitledGeeks.com. If you like what we do here, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on UntitledGeeks.com, thank you for all your support. Browse our website. Peace, love, and happiness. What did you think of this game? Comment below. Let me know. Later days. Peace.